Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. My name is Allan and today we're here talking about the Challenge All Stars 4, Episode 9. We got a historic elimination matchup this episode between two of the best elimination competitors of all time, and yet somehow it wasn't the matchup we were expecting all episode. Episode 9, the wheels are turning. How y'all feeling?
Still good. It's kind of all been the same, but good.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I think that this episode is going to change the trajectory of the rest of the season. So I'm interested to see what happens from here, but still Team Cara Maria over here.
Whoa. It never gets normal.
It doesn't get normal for me either. I think I'm trying to normalize it by saying it over and over again.
Yeah.
It's so much the Cara Maria show. So much that I completely forgot my normal intro where it's like I have my Southern co-host with Muncie, my Vermontian co-host Zoe Trimboli. But it's like, again, the mind is on Cara just like it is everyone in this house. We jump into episode 9 and we have Nicole going crazy just because Cara's having conversations with other people and they don't absolutely hate her like Nicole does.
Yo, I felt like I was at recess. Just like watching a child spiral because someone that is supposed to be their friend is talking to someone that they don't like. Like, it truly felt so juvenile.
And these are adults. It's crazy. And just because they're having conversation doesn't mean they're aligning the game. They live together. You're gonna want to speak. And Cara does not deserve isolation.
Well, to be fair, Nicole does have the intellectual capacity and emotional intelligence of an 11-year-old, so it makes sense. But it's still alarming to see on a show that's theoretically supposed to be grown-ups.
And as always, I've really enjoyed how Cara responds to it. She's clearly phased. Who wouldn't be? But phased in the way that it's not bringing her down. She's like, this is comical. This is amusing to me.
I think it's a lot easier to get into a confrontation with Nicole than anyone else because you just know you're going to come out on top in the argument. You're not going to lose. So when Nicole just keeps repeating, keep my name out of your mouth, keep my name out of your mouth, and Cara literally claps back and starts saying her name, Nicole, 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 Nicole. It's my favorite part of the entire episode. It was just peak petty.
Yeah. I'm repeating myself. I'm going to try to stop because this is the same last 8 podcasts we've done. But Cara really just is an evolved human, in my opinion. And it's been really cool to see.
Yeah.
And I do love that Nicole is very clearly the person who's obsessed with Cara versus the other, whereas Cara's Nicole's not even a threat game wise because she, as we know, she's an idiot, can't read, whatever. But instead of just saying that, Cara decides, you know what, I'm gonna feed into your little belief that I am obsessed with you. I'm gonna say your name a bunch, and I'm just gonna grind your gears. And I loved it, just like you, Zoe. I loved it.
It feels a little bit like Wes and Josh. Levels of delusion and obsession. Not obviously the same because Wes wouldn't even dignify it with a reaction, and Cara's going the opposite route. But it is similar in the sense that these people are actual non-factors in the other person's mind.
I think Nicole just wants the reaction, and she's never going to get the one that she wants. She's just going to be belittled and look stupid, and maybe that's her thing.
Again, though, Nicole isn't the only person kind of like this, whereas we see another just Laurel type confessional where she's going insane, talking about Cara. We get another Flora confessional, talking about Cara, and it's just there's something missing in this show, or people just really, really are impressed by Cara, which I fully believe they are impressed by Cara because they are.
Yeah, I think it's probably a mix of both because, I think it would be ill-advised of anybody to take the edit as fact. I'm still Team Cara, but I feel like all these people on podcasting, well, this happened, well, this happened, this happened. There has to be some legitimacy to it, but let us see it as the viewers so we can make a decision.
Well, to be fair, the criticism of Cara has always been by her castmates that don't like her, that she's annoying, that she acts like a baby, that people just don't like hanging out with her because she's super negative. Like, that's been the consistent criticism of her for years. Some people are like saying those lines, but I don't know if I'm buying it from those people exactly. Like Flora specifically, I find hard to believe because like you decided to be best friends with Nicole and Jasmine, who have big personalities to say the least. And like saying that, like, she jumps right to like Nicole's a great person. Like, you've known this person for a week and we've seen what they've done on TV for the last, like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, and they're a dirtbag. So your like blip with this person does not trump everyone else's experience watching her on this show.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It reminds me of on Total Madness when Asaf like called Wes a weasel on the first week, and Wes, his strategy was to be a possum and to do nothing. And while it was corny, whatever, TV, Wes is strange in some respects. It felt like this whole season kind of feels like we have seen Cara from the past, and we're going to project that on her despite her not showing that at all.
It's bonkers, and I just feel like I'm missing some piece of the puzzle here. That's kind of made the season as a whole a bit underwhelming. It's been really good. I think Cara's been kick ass, but there's something missing on All Stars 4 right now.
I can't pinpoint it. Like maybe it's
no, I was just gonna say, when things get left on the cutting room floor that are essential parts of the narrative, it makes it hard to follow. I also think we've had some lackluster challenges and eliminations, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
No, let's jump to the daily challenge. Actually, I mean, is there anything else before then? All right, let's go right into that. Go to the daily challenge, and it's a pair daily challenge, women's elimination day, which catches the men by surprise because they thought it would be a men's elimination day. The challenge is they're going to have to climb up to a little diving board, essentially on a tiny plank, jump off the diving board, grab these balls up top. Their team has to grab in total 4 of them. Once they have 4 of the balls taken down, we then swim to an area where they grab a puzzle piece, take that to a platform. First team to do it wins the daily challenge in the quickest time. There's a middle group, losing group, 2 different heats, but overall you're all competing in the same overall group. Took a lot of time in the episode.
Dare I say I skipped through some of it.
Yeah, it wasn't really necessary to watch the entire thing. I think they were hoping for like a gag reel of people like falling in the water, but it wasn't that funny.
Yeah, they had the first heat go, and that was teams like Cara and Ace, Steve and Flora, Veronica and Ryan, and then some other pair. Cam and Leroy. Where that heat took a really long time, and we saw Veronica and Flora and so many people just miss so many times on their jumps, and it wasn't funny. It was just more like more just sad.
Well, I felt really bad for Veronica, actually, because I feel like she consistently gets screwed in challenges like this because she's significantly shorter and, like, let's be real, not in the greatest shape, so jumping is hard. I just felt bad for her. I feel like all those jumps should be relative to the person competing's height.
Mm-hmm.
So she was trying so hard. So in this heat, to watch her really trying to get it and Flora just like gently hopping off and Cam not even doing it, like, I actually felt really bad for Veronica.
Yeah, and she was actually getting up and down the platform really fast. I actually thought it was like she had like no fear when it came to the heights element. She just literally couldn't do the jump, or get high enough on the jump to grab the ball.
Yeah, this happened on All Stars 3 with her as well. Like, I can remember vividly, she just couldn't reach. And yeah, I know adjusting it would take time, but like, it seems fair. I don't know.
But they do on Survivor.
Yeah.
But they give shit on Survivor about fairness and equity.
Yeah.
Cara and Ace won her heat, but as we saw, didn't even matter. Oh, that's what you mentioned. Cam quit the daily challenge, which was, I think, very shocking, especially considering the stakes in the game and how hard she worked to get her star. And now that she's in protection mode, she just kind of didn't even attempt the challenge.
I do think there's legitimacy though to her saying like my mom brain has me thinking differently. And this is such a strange anecdote, but I'm going to say it because it makes sense. I kayak a lot this summer, and there's this really big tree that has this rope swing that you like just go off and you land in the middle of the river. It's pretty sketchy, but it's fun. The first summer after my brother had a son, like he had his kid, he climbed all the way up, and he was like, "This isn't worth it if something happens to me. Like I've got a kid at home. Like, and sure the risks were minimal, but in that moment, I'm sure Cam thought like, oh my gosh, the worst possible thing could happen, and what would I have to show for that? So I do think she's in protection mode a little bit, that she thought she'd be fine. But I also think when she said my mom brain can't let me do it.
What was the season that Leroy got pretty hurt, falling into water?
Vendettas, I believe.
That's what I thought. So I mean, like, and she's seen that happen to him. So I think that was higher, but still, I do think that this will be like a low light of Cam's challenge career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, Luke, and I don't disagree. I just think that it's going to be a hard moment to look back on.
Yeah.
And
probably for her too.
Especially as we saw the episode play out, that decision played a massive factor. The second heat too, I think they're hoping to have, that gag reel go on, but instead the second heat, everyone just killed it besides Nicole.
And Nicole threw it. Is that what we're supposed to believe?
Nicole, who spent the entire daily challenge when the first heat was going, making fun of everyone for not being able to make the jump. She couldn't make the jump, just like them. Well, maybe she could physically do it, but her brain's so dumb she doesn't know how to catch a ball.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Jay, who seemed to care more about Nicole's game than she did in this challenge and in this episode in general. But I mean, and just to like compare the lack of fairness, Laurel's like 6 feet tall, was literally stepping off of this plank and grabbing it and falling down, whereas you have Veronica like trying to get air to get up to the point where she needs to get it to bring it down. That I don't think that Veronica and Ryan were gonna beat Laurel and Derek here, but not the most fair challenge.
Right.
Yeah, and that entire second heat, Laurel and Derek, Adam and Avery also killed it. Avery killed this challenge. And then Jay and Nicole, they all finished in the middle group or the winners group. Laurel takes the win. And everyone thinking, okay, Laurel's going to throw herself into elimination. She's going to go get her star now.
Especially because in the losing group is Cara.
Who Laurel is making a push she wants people to put her in against Cara so she can be the one to take her out, because she feels like she has something to prove and she's bothered by Cara's confidence this season.
Point blank.
They get back to the house. They're deciding who to nominate. And as we said, Cara is the clear choice because they want her out and also they want to set up Laurel versus Cara. But they decide, okay, who are we going to put in against Cara? Obviously, it's Cam, because if Cara goes in against Cam, that's also a monster elimination. And even Cara Maria says, well, wait, I don't want to face Cam or Laurel. Which I respect her for, like, Cara's openly admitting it. Like, she's, like, willing to face anyone, but she's like, well, if I don't have to face them, my life would just be better because they're both very good.
Right.
Yeah, she was the only one really speaking rationally throughout this whole process. Maybe her and Jay. But I think it was not deliberately brilliant, but Laurel insisting that she was going to go down and take out Cara really set up for a strong woman leaving this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Because realistically, I don't know. I mean, you don't put Cara in against Veronica or Flora because she automatically wins. But like maybe if you're Laurel, you try to get Cam to do it and then give you a star. And like there are just so many different ways this could have gone. I think.
Go ahead.
I think Laurel going down is the most fun.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of an ego thing to not just put Veronica and Flora down there. Like, if you want a star, it's a really easy way to do it. Go down there and get a win and take it from someone. Take Veronica's star, take someone else's star. Like, that's the way to go about it. But she really was, I think, banking on a physical elimination, because I don't know what other kind of elimination she would feel ultra confident going against Cara in.
I agree. She would never admit that though.
I mean, she
Yeah.
kind of,
Well, I was say actually never mind. She kind of did, without saying it verbatim.
If it's like a swimming type elimination, like the one that Tori did on the most recent season, the 39, I think that's something that Laurel would feel confident in because Cara's just not great in the water. But other than that, yeah, unless it's physical, I think Cara has a lot more experience, especially in the elimination arena in recent seasons, whereas like Laurel hasn't been as unbeatable as she used to be in those.
Yeah.
I do think if you're Laurel, though, you could have maybe worked the angle of, hey, let's have Cara and Veronica in the elimination, because that way you can either choose to take out Cara, or you can just go for the easier victory right there.
Yeah. Because Veronica has a star, correct?
Yeah, and then it would have also kept Cam and Nicole happy, would have kept their stars. The three of them would have had stars.
Yeah. I agree.
But I don't think that Adam and Avery would have went for that, actually.
Yeah. I did like the deliberation. Can we move to the deliberation?
Yeah.
It seemed pretty obvious. Well, it was obvious where it was going, Cam and Cara. But I thought Jay showed a lot of just common sense and used the best appeal towards Nicole he possibly could. If she takes out Laurel, you're losing your girl and your star's gone. So because Cara willingly and openly said throughout this, I'm not going to take it from Cam. I'm going to take it from Nicole. I thought that was brilliant, and I'm surprised it didn't work on Nicole. But Nicole has such an issue with Cara; she couldn't process reason.
I also think Nicole had just listened to Laurel and was not capable of doing any critical thinking on her own, and thinking through what the effects of that would be if Laurel were to lose. It's almost like she was just looking through the lens of Laurel's going to go in and beat Cara, and that's it. The end. But
we're talking about the same person who said, I'll face you, Veronica, in elimination. And then once she heard that Veronica wasn't working with Cara, she's like, oh no, I'll face Jasmine, and then called Jasmine all the way back down. Cara lives rent-free in her brain. It comes down to that. I agree with you, Luke. Jay's pitch was actually pretty good. I will say some of the math of it probably wasn't adding up. He just kept saying 50%, but kept adding on facts. And I kept thinking about, I don't know if that's 50%. I don't think that is, but he just kept saying it very confidently.
But he knew with Nicole it didn't matter. She would just say, "Oh, okay."
Nicole seemed so confused throughout that entire deliberation.
And I believe that more than one voice at a time does confuse her. So
I think one voice at a time confuses her. I think unless it's keys jangling, she doesn't really get it.
I need a laser pointer or something.
Mm-hmm.
I am fascinated though by this idea because Laurel was the one who was talking about it last week when they talked about the idea of Cam going in and stealing Cara's star, and then next week Laurel will go in and eliminate Cara herself. They're all obsessed with the idea of getting Cara out of the game versus there's a path of why don't we just not vote Cara into elimination and not even give her a shot at a star? Because that was the idea that Cam had on Double Agents with CT until maybe production helped out CT a little bit here or there.
Yeah.
I think it shows how much they're banking on Cara winning a challenge again.
True.
And
I mean, they're so scared. They are seeing her as the top dog. Everybody, guys and girls alike.
yeah,
It's tough though, because like there's I mean, Cara is clearly the best player, but you got to be the top 1 out of 6 or like 1 out of 12 sometimes in this house versus just winning a one-on-one elimination. That's the math where it's like I think a higher odds. They really have the possibility to ice her out, and they're not even considering it. Except Jay, I think even maybe talked about that idea. I think Cara acknowledged that idea even.
it's so interesting to think about because I think that they would be better off trying to get rid of Ace, who's like her number one person and who she seems to perform pretty well with. But I also think the guys see her as an asset in these challenges. So, like, if I was the guys, I'd be trying to get rid of Ace so that Cara needs a next choice for.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, and Ace even said to Cara, like, because she was debating, do I go in, like, whatever, and he's like, can you not? So you can be my partner on Monday. But you're right, Zoe. Like, get him out or attempt to, and then like she's up for grabs because they still don't know what the final's going to look like. They don't know if it's going to be. I know it's individual, but they might run some portions in pairs like they did on season 39. She's somebody they want to keep around.
Yep.
And at this point in the game, I think Cara does have a lot of male friends left, or a decent amount compared to how many people are still there in the house. I mean, she has Ace, she has Jay, and Steve, which is pissing off Nicole.
Just dumb.
My friend.
We get to the elimination arena. We got Cam, we got Cara. TJ explains the elimination. Do you guys want to explain it all?
It's pretty straightforward. There is a mud pit, not even mud, it's just a dirty water pit. And over the top of it is a cage full of 10 large rubber balls. And all they have to do is take these balls, knock them to the end of the cage. They come out through a hole, and then they have to put them in a rack, a cone, whatever. The first person to get all 10 of their balls out of the cage and into their cone wins.
Do you see this elimination? TJ asked Laurel, does she want to come down? Laurel, who has very assertively said to us aggressively with eyes wide open that she's beaten Cara multiple times in elimination and she's ready to do it again. She thinks about it. She realizes, she doesn't say this, she does not say this at all, but she realizes, well, Cara has better cardio than I do. Cara has basically wiped me in all these mini finals this season. And so she takes a large breath and she says, I'm not going to come down because either Cara or Cam leaving is good for my game because they're a strong player, which I guess technically it's not wrong at all, but also it's her wimping out. It's her being a coward.
Horrendously. And here's the thing. If she actually wanted to make a big game move, take Cara's spot. Like, if you're so scared that Cara's going to beat you and Cam, like, then why don't you go in and take Cara's spot? Get your star. Like, if you don't care about Cam's feelings, whoever goes home, then why not go in against her yourself? It's because she's scared.
I think it was abundantly clear. That was not the plan. She was conflicted, but she also knew there was a good chance she'd go home. I agree, Luke. I think she would have beat Cam in this elimination. I actually think it's one of the few eliminations, though, where her height would have made it even harder for her because her head would have been up against that cage. But it really came down to Cara's in better shape than the other two, and both of them were scared. And it was interesting to watch Cam be scared in this moment too, because Cam's also been saying for weeks that she's not scared of Cara. And I know that she's like upset because she feels like she got duped into this situation, but it was not the confidence that she has been parading around the house when it comes to facing Cara in elimination.
I can't wait to rewatch that scene specifically where Laurel says she's not going in. The flashes of Leroy's face, Nicole's face, even Cara's face. It's like, oh, you're scared of me. But then Cam, you can see in her face that she's like, did I make the wrong decision siding with her? And you did.
Did.
Like Cara, I know for a fact. Well, I can't say for a fact because that would be a lie because it didn't happen. But I know that if Cara had a star and then went in elimination and won again, she would give it to Cam. I know that she would help her out, like because once Cara has an ally, she's down for them. I love Cam, but she made the bad call early on.
Cara and Cam would have sailed to this final together if they had been aligned through this season.
Yep.
And I do think if you're Cam, like the time to get Cara out, the time to make a move against her would have been much later in the game. Once Cara doesn't have a chance. Now that she gave Cara all this time to build up and really see the field, see the cards the way they are, and people were able to pit them against each other like this, it was a bad move. And then also, as we talked about, like this was not the daily challenge to quit. I know the mom brains kicked in, but this was not the daily challenge to quit at all. And also, maybe you should have fought more in the house politically to keep yourself out of this nomination at all. Because I really didn't see Cam working that hard compared to the rest of the game.
They were putting a lot of stock in Laurel coming down into this elimination. And I think that they've intentionally made these eliminations like kind of an anybody can win sort of scenario because of the lack of depth in the cast in some ways. Like they want to encourage anyone who's in that winner circle to come down and take a shot.
Yeah. It just is a bad look for both of them, Cam and Laurel. Like Laurel looks so weak. And do I blame her for not going down? Like if she wasn't confident? No. But you talked all this game. You talked so much mess. And when it came down to it, you couldn't go against Cara, who you think you could beat in anything.
It's similar to Derek and Wes on All Stars 3, where it's that pole wrestle. Derek has the opportunity to call Wes out after all these years, and then he calls out Nehemiah, and then he loses. And it's double the loss. Laurel nopes out of this. Cara wins, gets a star again, and here's Laurel with maybe not even another opportunity at a star because we are so late in the game. It's like I don't really know if she's gonna get that chance.
I feel like we're gonna see her intentionally throw a challenge soon on a girls' day because I don't think she can bank on winning.
There's only 2 episodes left, and there's a lot of people left without a star. I've said this, but I really want there to be a purge. Like you've been able to navigate the game. You should have been able to. Laurel specifically, like you didn't get your star, you had your chances, you're out.
Avery,
People like Flora, yeah, Avery too. People like Flora, you never won, you never got sent down. Like you don't get to go to this final.
There's some Laurel and Avery are the 2 most infuriating ones because they've won stuff and have had shots to go in, and especially Avery last week, like should have went in. And then you have players like Ryan who have done just Ryan and Flora who have just done nothing in this game, and then don't have stars. Them, I don't mind them. Those are the 4 like I don't mind them getting purged because like one you were too stupid to, or one you're just floating. But then you also got people like Derek and Jay, where I think they're actually performing really well this season. They just literally have not had their opportunity at a star, and it's not really through their fault of their own, unless maybe they should have thrown some challenges, which it's hard to say at certain points.
Yeah, the men mean nothing to me because I just had to think in my head who's still there. But it's a lot of people. Like it's a lot of people that only have 2 episodes left.
yeah, I logistically that feels like there has to be a purge, right?
Yeah.
The actual elimination now, though, Cam versus Cara, and I feel like Cara played this elimination like Killer Cam, and Cam played this elimination like early generation Cara. They go into the pit, and Cara has the game plan of I'm going to get every single ball and put it near the front, so that way at the end I'm just taking them all out. Cam had somewhat of that same game plan, but then she just completely forgot a few balls at the end that were the farthest away, and then she started taking balls up and down, and she immediately had a quick lead, but then those last few balls were just so far away.
Yeah, that quick lead meant nothing watching it because you knew as soon as Cara had everything down at the end, it was just going to be bang, bang, bang. And you knew she was going to move fast because she's in great shape.
And this is one of those times, they said it on the show, but where Leroy should have said from the jump, Cam, go get those balls. Because I really do think had she corrected in the beginning, there's a chance she could have beat Cara. But nope.
Yeah, Cara beat her 10-8, which to me in an elimination like this is actually a pretty big margin because it was so close. Like it wasn't like they had to run the ball from like 30 yards or something. It was literally 5 feet. So to basically lap her twice it's a big win.
Yeah.
And the way it was formatted, even though Cara had the superior cardio and was more likely to win, there was still a chance for Cam to win with the way, if she just got her balls all together at once, then maybe she could have won. I think it's still more likely Cara would have won. Cara kicked this elimination's ass. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed because Cam is usually the master of figuring out the right strategy in eliminations, and mentally she just wasn't there in this moment.
I think she was just really frazzled to be there too, honestly. I don't know. I really don't understand why no one thought that this might happen. Like, there's only so many things that could happen. It's literally Laurel goes down or Laurel doesn't. And if she doesn't, you're in it against Cara. That was a lot of faith in a very emotional, irrational person.
Yeah. Great TV, this person, but she just is so interesting as a human. Like, she needs to be studied. I'm serious.
Oh, I know.
It's yet another week where we walk away from this show just being like, wow, Cara is really the only person looking good here.
Well, it's another week. I think there's only been one other podcast where I've not included her on the thumbnail because same with Laurel and Cam, to be honest. But like, Cara is the star. We've been saying it.
And her path just got so much easier eliminating Cam because Cam is the puppet master behind so much of this movement to get her out. And I don't think Leroy has it in him to really take up that cause with the same gusto that Cam did. So this is going to make her the rest of her time on the season a lot easier.
Yeah.
She's got a star again. We maybe have one more female elimination where whoever wins that is going to be trying to steal her star, I assume. So she has to win the daily challenge, or maybe she has to throw herself down there to protect it. That's really what the game is at this point. I mean, I can't imagine watching this season and cheering for anyone but Cara at this point.
Oh, for sure. Like, the men are relevant. The women are bitter, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, if you like chaos, like you'll root for Laurel, right? Because you just like to watch the world burn, so to speak.
But even then, like, I love Laurel, but it's like this is just a Cara show. Like, I came into the season like ride or die for Avery, but now I'm like, should have thrown yourself in against Flora. That's all I could think. It's like Cara is the show, and once if she goes out before the final and it just becomes a bunch of other people, it's going to be a hard final to watch, a hard show to watch. It's going to remind me a lot of our experience on season 39, where it was Nerys or nothing.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Exactly the same.
Y'all got anything else?
Just ready for another episode of the Cara Maria show.
Yeah. Can I ask a question before we end? How many girls are there left and guys? Is it 7 of each?
6 and 7, because they said there were 14 people at the beginning of the episode.
Oh yeah,
God.
who cares? Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that they are purging people next week. And this is not me knowing spoilers because I've forgotten them genuinely. Like, I know the big stuff, but like, I think I'm gonna enjoy next week for yeah.
Do you think they'll get purged for not having a star, or just get purged in a challenge?
I actually think just because recently they've been running like 8-person finals, I believe there will be a challenge for anybody who does not have a star and there's one chance. If you win the daily, you get the 4th star for your sex. And then it'll be an 8-person final. I could see that happening. And then anybody who doesn't get that is just gone. You had your chance. See ya.
Next week's daily does look very wacky. They're on shopping carts and they're trying to lasso some stuff. That looks like a very old school, very fun daily challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, apologies to everyone out there. This just was not the. It straight up. This was not the best episode of All Stars ever. I mean, yes, there was some high drama moments. Laurel looked like a coward. Cara versus Cam, but really not the most happened. It's just been a repeat of mostly like what we've been talking about the last few weeks.
When you spend 3 minutes of an episode like focused on a praying mantis, that says a lot.
Yeah.
Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get the podcast. We're actually going to record a Challenge All Stars Season 5 cast breakdown, like because they just recently had Departure Day, and we're going to go through the cast and talk about it. We're going to drop it here on the podcast and on the YouTube channel, but click on that in another video. But yeah, get excited for that because this episode as a whole wasn't the most exciting, but hopefully next week it'll pick back up. The Cara Maria show's been good, but when it hasn't been her, it's been hit or miss.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye.